There is more in the box. Do you want to sharpen your betting skills and become a full-time pro? If the answer is yes, then this video is for you. Let's crack on. Right, we've done this in a presentation format. Hopefully it helps you follow it through. Here's the table of content that we're going to be covering, 10 points. Before we do get started, just want to quickly mention that if any of you are account providers or you know people who are, then you can get in touch. We're particularly interested in the USA, Canada, Sweden, Malta and Italy. Now onto the video. So the first thing to discuss is solution finding. As you know, in any business, it's important to always stay ahead of the game by continually finding solutions. Yes, if you think about the greats such as Billy Walters and Bill Bentner, the reason that they're still in the game is quite simply because they were always able to find the answers. Yeah, so longevity is definitely the key, but also think that it is unique to your situation. And in this instance, what I'm trying to say is, if you're living in a country that is quite remote, then you've got to figure out how to get involved in other countries, and you've got to look at a little bit of sort of you've got to find out what's in the box. Yeah, but there is a solution for everything. I'm a strong believer in this. That's why I was the first person ever to get betting licenses for different companies, and so you've really just got to stay at it. You've got to keep opening the doors, looking for new avenues. Yes, because your future success depends on this. Now, with regards to your understanding, now, some people, they're not so clued in. They probably just made a little bit of money from EV betting, and you've really got to do a bit of a self-assessment at this stage. Yes, take stock, analyze yourself, and also try to sort of figure out what you do need. What is going to be the future? What is your ambitions? What are you trying to get out of this? If you're trying to make the big money, then you've got to start thinking through the numbers. If you're placing a £1,000 bet and you've got a 5% profit on each one of them, then you're only making 50 on each one, right? Now just do the numbers. If you're getting 100 bets a month, it's only 5,000. If you're doing 1,000 bets a month, it's 50,000. Then it starts becoming serious. But these are the type of stuff that you've got to ask yourself. So you've also got to figure out, about your own sort of work ethic. Are you the sort of person that can stick at this 12, 14 hours a day, always delving for information? And the actual betting itself, yes, you've got to know a little bit more than just that. You've got to understand all the stuff that we're going to talk about in this video. Right, so if we go on to the extraction process, now you've made money in the past probably by simply EV betting, like I say, value betting, or maybe even match betting to be simplistic about it. And there's nothing to stop you carry on doing that, right? But if so, you're going to need a lot of accounts. You've got to think about how you're going to sort of extract the money and how you're going to, also pay in and so on, right? If you're the originator of the bets, I would beg you to ask yourself, how many bets do you need to make it worthwhile? And if you're an originator of bets, you might want to start looking for sort of other betting partners to share those bets with and probably get something back reciprocal, right? Because the numbers are not going to be big enough. I'm not saying that you can't do it. I'm just saying that to be the, the originator, the finder of the bets, you'll only have so much knowledge, and you should base your sort of findings and your future around, who you can get involved with that business. Yeah, so make a plan. Figure out how to source your bets, and also look a little bit further afield. If you actually are the originator, go into the Asian accounts, look at the exchanges. They're highly competitive. They're near the mark in terms of the odds, but market price, so to say. So you'll have to be a little bit better. But that's a possibility. So think through the extraction process. Now, if we move on to the networking, I've done this in quite a detail with another video, so I would definitely recommend that you go and watch that, yes. But you've got to be in networking, you've got to be a master of communication. That's very important. You've got to build relationships. They do say that you will be the person, the sum of the 5 people that you surround yourselves with in life, yes. But of course, you've got to figure that one out for yourself, yes. Ask yourself, what do you need? But more importantly, what can you offer in return? Because you can't take without giving. Now, this is where a lot of people go wrong in networking. They just think it's like a free-for-all, just because because I'm me, people are going to be supplying me information and people are going to be helping me. I'm afraid it doesn't quite work that way. But yeah, you know, you've got to think everything through, like it's a betting partnership, anything that can sort of help you become a better person, or at least in this business in that case, right? For a jump start and solution finding, you might want to join our mentorship program. There's details on the site. It's only for experienced gamblers, but I'm assuming that only experienced gamblers are listening to this, or profitable gamblers, should I say. Now, if we go quickly on to character, this is very big in this business, because once you get a good name for yourself, you know, people come to you. If you get a bad name for yourself, people will swerve you. So it's about reputation building, doing things right. Without trust, you won't get very far, believe me. You know, just think it through. Your word is your bond. What you say, you're going to follow through. Yeah, for God's sake, always make sure that you are the decisive person that answers honestly, does things correctly, and I'm sure then you're going to have no problems. Yeah, you know, but that saying goes around to, if you can talk the talk, make sure you can walk the walk. Now, with regards to learning, this is something, you know, you can take it whichever way you wish to, but Bentner education is, if you really want to get deep, you've got to, you know, immerse yourself into this business and start finding out even stuff that you're not going to be a specialist about, because you've got to know that that sort of information that's coming to you is worthwhile. Yeah, by all means, go and look for advice from people. You know, if anybody's willing to sort of help you, that's also a big issue in this business. People will talk loosely. You probably see on the other YouTube videos, they don't really say much. They talk about a strategy that's going to help you win a lot of money, but they don't tell you exactly how to do it. Yes, so you know that's a learning process. So you've got to learn it for yourself, get a deeper understanding, and also if you want to go and have a look for a mentor. You might find somebody who's willing to sort of help you along out there. And like we mentioned, we do the mentorship program with us. So yeah, just work on yourself. Make sure that you're always learning, always staying ahead of the game, and that will give you a great future in professional gambling. Now, if we talk about sourcing, I mean, there are a load of resources out there, yeah, you know, but you've also got to take into consideration that the best things, you know, they do cost money, right? So you've got to think of it as a value exchange. You're exchanging your money for what, that's whether it's information services, whether it's software, whether it's picks and tips, whether it's a data service, or whether it's betting accounts. It's got to be a value to you, but it's got to be a value to the other person as well. Again, I just want to reiterate, this is where a lot of people go wrong in this business. You know, there's a lot of sort of people who are used to working with the last sort of pennies and keeping things tight and, just trying to do it all by themselves. And that's where they go dreadfully wrong. You've got to start really finding friends, finding businesses, finding every bit of support that you possibly can to help you get ahead. If we also talk now about technology, I must admit, I always have a little chuckle when people talk about VPN as being enough. You know, they think basically they can travel around the world, stick on a VPN and start betting literally, back home. And if it was only that easy, the likes of Bet365 wouldn't have probably 300 or 400 technologists working on 2 floors of their Stoke-on-Trent building there, trying to stop people, taking advantage this way, right? So, think it through. It's a little bit deeper than that, yeah. You might also want to look at sports modeling. I'm not going to encourage that for everybody because it is very mathematical, it's all algorithm based, but if that is your thing, definitely. If you're getting EV bets and you think you can sort of pound them, one after one, right, then you need to start considering whether you're going to make yourself a bot that can sort of cover that, a bet placement tool, right, which will make life easier, which will help you get a lot more bets down a lot faster. If you're into data collection, doing a lot of performance stuff yourself, then you need to look for technology that's based on that. Fortunately, there is a lot of it out there. It is quite expensive, and I would definitely be a little bit wary about what you buy and what information. Just make sure that it's actually correct. Yes, When I mentioned the IP browser, that is coming back to that VPN statement. You've got to make sure that you're properly well protected. There's a lot of kit out there. You can get in touch with us. I'll give you a little bits of info if you need that. But yeah, you know, technology is supposed to streamline your business, so make it that way. Now, banking and payments. Now, this is quite a funny one. Even the likes of Pinnacle Sports, you know, they had massive problems back in the day in terms of taking people's deposits, right? They had to put an intermediary between themselves. Also, back then, e-wallets function better. You know, the likes of Skrill, you could open another Skrill account, then one to the other, and move your money around that way. Unfortunately, it's become a lot more sort of difficult. You know, there's been bookmakers are wise to the facts, and yeah, you've got to find always ways, you know, banking payments. So, and also the cost consideration. Some of these methods are very expensive to go through, and you know, it's going to eat into your profits, right? So you've got to try to find out. You've got some fintech companies nowadays which are making it a little bit easier. Some of the e-wallets still work. It depends on what country you're in, but you know, your job is really to sort of find that sort of best process. But it all boils down to the fact that is you've got to make sure that you can fund betting accounts, and not only can you fund betting accounts, you know, you can repatriate the money back to your bank account. So make sure that you save, make sure you do things correctly, and you know, stay legal and stay ahead of the game. Crypto's the final alternative for paying into accounts, paying out quickly, but again, you know, you still got to go through the motions of opening these. So make sure you understand it. And if we move on to the final chapter, it's going to be about international. Now, this one really sort of cracks me because I always think most people can't see further than the end of their street. And I've always thought international, I've always tried to see the bigger picture. You know, what's happening in Australia is not necessarily the same as in the UK. What's happening currently in the US, I mean, it's massive, you know. Basically, this sort of 8 to 10 years behind what we had sort of in Europe. So massive bonuses are there. It wasn't always like that. It used to be like that in the UK. And now, you know, you're probably getting a 20 quid bonus, which is nothing. But of course, if you're going international, you've got to be a little bit culturally adaptable. And by that I mean is, you know, if you're talking American and you're saying, oh, minus 110, minus 150, I'm afraid a lot of Europeans are not going to understand you, and vice versa. You know, it's like the Brits with their fractions, 11 to 10, 2.1, or plus 110 American. You've got to understand, you've got to try to adapt to that sort of mentality. You've got to try to accept that they are different people to what they are in your country, yes? You're always searching for opportunity. Some countries are obviously a lot easier than others. You know, if you get accounts in Africa, it's probably going to be a lot easier in terms of getting money down, but small amounts of money down. Obviously because of the you know, the economies over there, but at the same time, you know, they're worth exploring. If you look at rich countries, or where you can get these big bonuses, right, you know, and you can partner up with people, start thinking through a little bit of the taxation system there. You know, you've got to support them, yeah. So yeah, you know, really sort of delve deep. And again, I would like to mention this is type of stuff that we discuss in our mentorship program. Yeah. So yeah, that's about it for now. You're through to bootcamp again. Like and subscribe for more of this type of video, and we'll see you in the next one soon. So take care. Bye bye.